Okay, everything should be starting. Yep, everything should be fine. Okay, perfect. Okay, so hey everybody, welcome to another goat stream with the goat girl. Oh, hold on, I'm being requested for something. What? I am? Oh, goodness gracious. That was not supposed to happen. None of you are supposed to see that.
No, you have. This got offset somehow.
Well, you love me beheading myself, apparently.
It's actually somehow offset a lot. There we go. All fixed.
Something has to happen always. No, you're fine, thank you. I'm so glad that I was levitating, unlike that one song from the baby. But anyway, so welcome back to a goat stream, the goat wife stream. We are here playing Getting Over It, and this is actually me going back at it because I played this, I believe, a year ago actually, and it didn't go well. It did not go well in the slightest. I have stuck it in the same spot. But we intend to actually progress, and I won't even tell y'all what that spot is.
I have no problem. Yeah.
What isn't?
Any of you. I didn't realize it. Sorry. Refresh. Refresh. Oh,
This is what happens with the scuff course.
it's not scuff, it's just sometimes I didn't realize this wasn't here. I was too busy making sure everything that was needed was stuff. So none of your alerts or anything were working for a second. So I just swooped in and fixed it. That should work if it doesn't, and then hit record when it's not working.
Okay.
As a future note.
Well, I mean, I might as well just wait to see that everything works.
It looks like it's working. I'm telling you, if it doesn't work later on, I'm gonna try them in the other room. Let you know if nothing is working. You come back here and do that.
So that one up there and this one on the side.
Huh?
That one up there and this one on that side.
It just is my little.
Okay.
It's all good.
Okay.
Thank you for donating and putting that explain.
Okay. Hello there, you little. Oh, I'm not looking for this. Okay, I just gotta relearn everything, right? I just gotta relearn everything. Should be fine. So the quality is going to be on worst for obvious. Okay, well, good thing everything is working, huh? Good thing everything is already working. Yes, honey, everything's working. Of course he's gonna give me kisses because he wants to. Okay, oh my gosh, I've forgotten how much of a hassle this game can be. I don't know, you're supposed to be at this one tree. Well, I say not supposed to, but... Okay, you know what? It's time to do already a fancy maneuver at this tree. Hey! Oh, look at that, the fancy maneuver worked. Woohoo!
There's no feeling more intense than starting over. If you deleted your homework the day before it was due, as I have, or if you left your wallet at home and you have to go back after spending an hour in the commute. If you won some money at the casino and then put all your winnings on red but it came up black. If you got your best shirt dry cleaned before a wedding and then immediately dropped food on it.
Something else, right? Goodness.
To be fair, you haven't played a game where I've needed to have this as a concern for a while. I think it's just that easy.
If you want an argument with a friend,
Well, I'm sorry
and then
that
later discovered
people's
that they just
ears have
returned to
been
their original view,
having to hear this
starting over
twice
is
is
harder than
irritating.
starting up. If you're not ready for that, Like if you've already had a bad day, then what you're about to go through might be too much. Feel free to go away and come back. I'll be here.
Listen here, Bennett Foddy. I've already played your game. Literally.
Alright.
That.
Thanks for coming with me on this trip.
Okay,
I'll
thank
understand if you have to take a break at any point. Just find a safe place to stop and quit the game. And don't worry, I'll save your progress, always. Even your mistakes.
you. Okay, that is not a proper
This
communicative
game
way.
is a homage to a free game that came out in 2002, titled Sexy Hiking.
Okay.
The author of that game was Jazor, a mysterious Czech designer who was known at the time as the father of B games. And B
what
games
does B
are
game
rough
mean?
assemblages of found objects. Designers slap them together very quickly and freely, and they're often too rough and unfriendly to gain much of a following. They're built more for the joy of building them than as polished products.
Yes. Okay, well that's appreciative.
In a certain way, Sexy Hiking is the perfect embodiment of a B game. It's built almost entirely out of found and recycled parts, and it's one of the most unusual and unfriendly games of its time. In it,
Understandable.
your task is simply to drag
Hello,
yourself up a mountain
hello,
with a hammer.
Anna Morgana.
And that act of climbing, in the digital world or in real life, has certain essential properties that give the game its flavor. No amount of forward
yes.
progress is guaranteed.
Wouldn't get turned on by
Cliffs are
bots.
too sheer or too slippery. And the player is constantly, unremittingly in danger of falling and losing everything.
Yes, thank you, Foddy.
Anyway, when you start Sexy Hiking,
Oh
you're
my
standing next to
goodness,
this
okay.
dead tree that blocks the way to the entire rest of the game.
Okay, yep,
It might take you an hour to get over that tree. And a lot of people never
to
got
get over the
past it.
shot.
You prod and you poke
No,
at
no,
it,
you're
exploring
gonna
the
stay with
limits
me
of
on this
your
adventure,
reach and
Bennett
your
Foddy.
strength,
It is
trying
fine.
to find a way up and over. And there's a sense of truth in that lack of compromise. Most obstacles in video game worlds are fake. You can be completely confident in your ability to get through them once you have the
Yes.
correct method or the correct equipment or just by spending enough time.
Yes.
In that
okay.
sense, every pixelated obstacle in Sexy Hiking is real.
Oh, the point isn't about sexy hiking or being sexy while
The
hiking. The
obstacles in
point.
Sexy Hiking are unyielding, and that makes the game uniquely frustrating. But I'm not sure Jazzo
Hold on, then,
intended to make a
Bonnet
frustrating game.
Sexy hiking.
The frustration is
Yes,
just
so that's
essential to the
that's an
act of
actual
climbing,
game.
and it's authentic to the process
And
of
it's a
building
very
game
old
about
one. I think he said 2002 or something.
A funny thing happened to me as I was building this
Tormenting
mountain.
chest.
I'd have an idea for a new
I'm
obstacle,
already getting.
and I'd
I'm
build
already
it,
getting attacked.
test it, and it would usually turn out to be unreasonably hard. But I couldn't bring myself to make it
Goodness,
easier.
I forgot how
It
slippery
already
this
felt
thing
like
is.
my inability to get past the new obstacle was my fault as a player rather than as a builder.
No.
Imaginary
It's
mountains
you being
build
bad as a
themselves
player.
from our efforts to
It's you
climb
being
them.
bad as a player and as a
And it's our
builder.
repeated
I have not
attempts to reach
forgotten
the
all of the
summit
sets
that
that you've
turns
been
those
a part of.
mountains into something real.
But anyway, so sexy hiking. So sexy
When you're building
hiking
a
was
video
a
game world,
very.
you're building with ideas.
It was a very
And that can be like
poor
working with
drawn
quickset cement. You
game
mold your
full of
ideas
a
into
lot
certain
of.
shape that can
I
be
think
played
there were
with.
3D products.
And in the
2D?
process
I
of
am not
playing
sure.
with them,
It's been a while
they
since
begin
I've
to
seen a
harden
beat.
and set until they're immutable, like rock. And at that point, you can't change the world. Not without breaking it into pieces and starting fresh with new ideas.
So, can we play sexy hiking stream? That's if it can be found. But if it is, and you want me
years
to,
now,
you
people
want to
have
see
been
me
predicting
suffer
that games would
for a
soon be made
poorly
out of
drawn
prefabricated objects,
building game
bought in a
to
store
climb
and
it,
assembled into a world.
the worst
And for the most part, that
mechanic,
hasn't happened. Because the objects
I
in
will
the
be
stores
very
are
much
trash.
interested.
I don't mean they look bad or that they're badly made, although a lot of them are. I mean they're
course.
trash in the way that food becomes trash as soon as you put it in the sink. Things are made to be consumed and used in a certain context. And once the moment is gone, they transform into garbage. In the context of technology, those moments pass by in seconds.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Well, here's
Over
the thing,
time,
Bennett Foddy.
we've poured more and more refuse into this vast digital landfill that we call the internet. It now vastly outnumbers and outweighs the things that are fresh and untainted and unused. When everything around us is cultural trash, trash becomes the new medium, the lingua franca of the digital age.
Oh, you're right.
And you can build
the
culture out of
emulators. Oh my gosh.
But only
Although,
trash culture. B games,
I do want
B
to make
movies,
that there is no
B
emulator
music,
involved. There
B
has to be a
philosophy.
way. Pretty sure that I can make that a way.
Maybe this is what digital culture is. A monstrous
pretty
mountain
confident,
of
at least.
trash, the ash heap of creativity's fountain. A landfill with everything we ever thought of in it.
No support
Grand,
pumpkin.
infinite, and unsorted.
He is back.
There's 3D models of
Okay.
breakfast, Gen X's fanfic novels, scan magazines, green screen Shia LaBeouf, banned snuff scenes on Live Leak, Facebook's got lifelike bots with unbranded adverts and candid shots of Kanye and Taylor Swift mashups, car crash epic failed GIFs, Russian dashcam vids,
The
discussions
fact
of
that this is
McRibs,
still relevant to this
discarded,
day
forgotten, unrecycled, muddled,
is
rotten,
relevant.
untitled.
Untitled indeed. Means, by the way.
Everything's fresh for about 6
Bennett
seconds
Foddy
until
is
some
talking
newer thing
about
beckons and we hit refresh.
What,
And
Mr.
there's
Brooks?
years of persevering, disappearing into the pile, out of style, out of sight.
Oh yeah, Mr. Breast, one way.
In this context, it's tempting to make friendly content that's gentle, that lets you churn through it but not earn it. Why make something demanding if it just gets piled up in the land?
Oh my gosh, that's
filed
right.
in
But
with the
you know,
bland
yeah,
things.
okay. Make sure that Mr. Breast does not I'm pretty sure that Mr. Breast here is with Bennett Foddy to test my patience. I heard that Cornhub is very healthy for you. How is healthy for you? Don't ask for it. Anyway, so getting over it. Trying to get over these bosses. So we have been making some very good progress easily, which tells me that is all gonna go away if your girl here becomes arrogant. I don't know what to become. Okay, I have learned my lesson in Street Fighter 6, actually, non-sponsor. So when Mr. Beast Mr. Beast Breast. Yeah, the last thing I wanted was talk about animal
When
man.
games were new, they wanted a lot from you. Daunting you, taunting you, resetting and delaying you. Players played stoically. Now everyone's turned off by that. They want to burn through it quickly. A quick fix for the fickle. Some tricks for the clicks of the feckless. But that's not you. You're an acrobat. You could swallow a baseball bat.
Yeah, so as I mentioned in Street Fighter 6, right now, so a good friend of mine got me a PS5 for Christmas.
Now I know, most likely you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch, while some dude with 10 million views does it for you. Like a baby bird being fed chewed up food. That's culture too.
No, that's not culture. I am a lady who's trying to get through this. But it's fine. This is going to be a test of my patience. Why? Because I believe that the real culture in life is that people persevere. Because that is also culture, that's adaptation. And this is not a science class. I'm playing Twitch, doing these sexy hiking skills. No pun intended. Because I would be doing tricks from speedrunners I've seen years ago when this game was, studied heavily by data miners and Minecraft miners. Just kidding. But it's something that I like about playing rage games or games that infuriated me back then. Infuriated me. They still do infuriate me from time to time, but it's always about testing out whether I can. Oh shit! Bennett Foddy predicted. Bennett Foddy is the Simpsons confirmed. Even though, here's the thing, Bennett Foddy was talking so much about cultures and basically describing memes, even though memes did exist by the time that he was writing this, but not the kind of memes that we're seeing today, where it's me and my boy awake at 3 I'm looking for. Talking about the kind of memes where back then
You'll be back here again and again. Avenge and repent until you've ascended. Or until you're contented.
thank you, Bennett Foddy. But yeah, but that's the thing with when the Foddy is Bennett, he's talking about this during an era where our memes weren't really even that intelligent, to say the least. Talking about
you gun that Knuckles, do you know the way? Or like similar kinds. And I think that is very oh shit. I think that is very oh shit. I think that is very interesting for that to be the era where he said all these things, and it's a glimpse of
But
how
on the off
history is
chance that you're
doomed to
playing
change,
this,
and I'm
what I'm
going to
saying is,
change my
trash is
stance about being
disposable,
calm in a
but maybe
second
it
if this.
doesn't have to be approachable. What's the feeling like? Are you stressed? I guess you don't hate it if you got this far. Feeling frustrated? It's underrated.
Thank you for your slam poetry, Bennett. Have you ever taken up poetry classes? I know I did. It's not any close to like what you said, but you know. I always had that one style when it comes to poetry, and that's just saying stuff and making sure that it rhymes. I like rhymes. Rhymes are creative. I am one who appreciates creativity. I believe this game is truly creative, even though like he's minimizing it in a way that is like, oh, it's just how do I say it? That's not creativity. That is a rubbish. Oh, great. My Bennett Foddy. Homie heard the music and went freaking ecstatic over it. It's like, oh, I like the Drift LC sound from Pokemon Black and White. Which one specifically? I mean, like Drift LC, like Black and White, 1 and 2, because there's not much in between the tips. I'd be so down to like try out a Nuzlocke, of Pokemon, because there is a way to like get these games, and it would be amazing to just see how far I can learn any strategies I am going to commit cheese. But it would be extremely funny to see how to play Pokemon with this type of that type of environment. I have not tried a Nuzlocke before. I think that Nuzlocks are pretty
An
interesting
orange
too.
is sweet, juicy fruit locked inside a bitter peel.
Oh, this one?
That's not how I feel about a challenge. I only want the bitterness. It's coffee. It's grapefruit. It's licorice.
Black coffee. No, screw your orange. There is no orange coffee. Okay. In fact, an orange is not even bitter. I find it. Why? Because an orange. I mean, look at that color. Look at the serene orange in the background. It's warm. It's wonderful. Not this feeling that I'm
You
about.
just lost a lot of progress. That's a deep frustration, a real punch in the gut.
Is it? Hear me out? What am I gonna hear you out? What am I gonna hear you out, man? What am I gonna tell me, chat? What am I supposed to hear out? Well, you have the floor now. You have the floor. What do you want? What do you want to be heard out? Solo? What does that one entail, actually? What does that one entail? I've never heard of Soul Lock. Is it like no, it's not Pokemon Soul. I'm thinking of Heart Gold and Soul Silver. What does Pokemon Soul Lock entail? Is it like a one-time, one-done deal if I lose any battle? Like that would be the case for Nuzlocke as well, no? Like if you run out of a Pokemon, you fill the Nuzlocke. No, wait, isn't it Soul Lock that two people are tied to the same Nuzlocke or something? I believe that's what it is. It has to be that, because remember there were a couple of streamers, well, YouTubers, that they do Nuzlocks like cooperatively with each other, so they can like try to progress at the same time. I think it's like a very cool concept, a very cool idea of like two people trying to like go through and help each other out. Either help each other out or like challenge themselves. Which is the spirit of the challenge. The spirit of Massachusetts. No, I'm kidding. Family Guy reference. the spirit of playing Pokemon together, I am going to. Okay, the spirit of Pokemon not catching them all, catching a case if you do one mistake. And Pokemon Link, so Pokemon Slot 2 died for 1, the other Pokemon in Slot 2 has to get deleted. Oh! Oh, that is some Hollow Knight type shit. By the way, if you want to watch me if you want some Hollow Knight content, I am in the mood for that. I might play that in on stream. But no, that is. You know what? I will not be against trying it. Actually, that sounds like a very challenging concept. Oh, and internet. Okay, but still, I am very much interested in that idea, simply because it's certainly a challenge that would be so much fun to try out. Even though it sounds very sad, especially if that slot happens to be one's throwaway, but the other one that they care about the most. That's the one thing about Nuzlocke. It's you'll have Pokemon that you'll enjoy, but you have to make strategy out of RNG, which is why I actually like Yu-Gi-Oh. Actually,
No.
you have to make strategy based on a built RNG, which is very much different. Because in Yu-Gi-Oh,
Oof.
you create
Sorry about that.
a deck. Pepino, thank you. Thank you for my emotional support. If you create, it's built RNG in Yu-Gi-Oh. That is something that is I find entertaining. There is an RNG added to it, but you control the scenario based on how you go around that RNG. And I think that's something that I appreciate of Yu-Gi-Oh! Because it's an RNG that you set up.
It happened again. Keep on trying. Don't let it get to you.
Don't worry about it, Bennett. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, Foddy. Don't worry about it, Bennett. We move here. We are a changed woman. There is nothing to worry about, Foddy. If I fall down, I know that I can get back up, and that's okay. Even if one quits this game, what is it gonna do? For me, it's going to show me that even if I fall again and again, Hey, Jimmy, what are you doing on that slide? How are you defying gravity like that? Why are you defying gravity? What's the point of defying gravity up there, huh? Stupid. This is why I didn't learn in school. There we go. But I enjoy Yugi simply because of the fact that, again, there is a built RNG, and oh goodness gracious!
This thing that we call failure is not the falling down, but the staying down. Mary Pickford.
Okay, what Mary did to pick those type of words, but I think that there is something about. I always reference back to Markiplier whenever I get on this game. On this game and on a difficult game about climbing, because I do plan on getting back on that game too. It's the fact that I remember that he was going on a tantrum of how the game is an unfinished, unprocessed flop, right? And something that was interesting, he said, is that there is a randomness to how when you fall, And then I look at speedrunners doing their things, and like, they have a particular to it, or they have a way of how they do things. I'm not gonna say that I'm as good at that by any means. I just think that I know swings to in each particular area. For example, it's just me grabbing onto like them little clips like this, or if I can react fast enough to this. And then there's this where like if you go at a right angle, just land at this box. Amazon where they hide their bodies. Like, if there is something about randomized chaos, is that if you think back on artistic designs like Dadaism, right? That is a artistic medium where you just make art out of anything to portray a message. What will be the message that this game will be portraying? Well, the message behind this game can be interpreted to paying homage to 69, right? Could that be the only thing? Or is there something bigger in this type of game? Well, anybody can say, oh, well, he just wanted to make a rage game. Well, why do you make a rage, huh? It's because, at the time, rage games were the rave. Because what other games would be around to make something particular as good and intriguing to play as this, right? Well, there was Cat Mario. There was I Want to Be a Hero. There was games like Co-op. And that is what makes games like these interesting, or like at least how they could persevere. It's about making a game that would catch people's attention, and rage games, of course, would catch anybody's attention. They would catch people's attention. Oh, like why not play a game that would test your patience? And if you don't have enough patience, then there you go. Now you're just breaking a controller or breaking something. That's why you have like streamers that. That is the thing about about how we get entertained by streamers who break stuff. It's like a perspective of, oh, but why would you break something in there? Like, why would you do that differently? And then when you do it differently, you're gonna get frustration behind these people. But you know, with this game, it's labeled a rage game because it expects you to have a difficult time. If you want some good and dark fan-made Pokemon games, there's Pokemon Uranium, Pokemon Insurgents, Pokemon Xenoverse, Pokemon Fire Red Rocket Edition. If I were to play a dark Pokemon game, the first one has to be Pokemon Snakewood. Just because, even though it is an unfinished mess of a game that never got touched again by its creator, at least the last time I heard about it, I believe it is hilarious of all the shit that they put in Pokemon Snakewood. Simply because it's the fact that you would think that they would have access to Pokemon that they put in. You don't have access to a Shinigami. You don't have access to the zombie fight starters.
The soul would have no rainbow had the eyes no tears. John Vance Cheney.
And there's just a random Pikachu put in the state by a posted slack off that you tend to forget for rare Pokemon in the forest at the time for Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire.
The pain I feel now is the happiness
or
I had
Emerald,
before.
actually.
That's the deal. C.S. Lewis.
And it's very interesting to remember like what kind of rare Pokemon with rare percentages were in Generation 3 of Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Because you get, of course, you could get like Wurmple, Silcoon, and Cask now Wazoo, or you could have the luck of the gods and encounter your first Pikachu, Shroomish, and you would think that Shroomish is just some random Pokemon I don't know that like has like a good special attack stat until it becomes Breloom. Now it can just punch you in the face whenever it wants. But Breloom for that era was pretty good with several gyms. Why? Because if you train the Breloom high enough, you're already good with like, Roxanne against a Shroomish. If you have Pokemon like Torchic for that sweet combustion, which has always been my my thing because I love basic and I believe that even though my favorite starters have been grass types. It's been like way. I love Bulbasaur, I love Chikorita, I love Trico, and it's because they all had a sense of coolness to them. Just because they were usually made as fucking dinosaurs. I love them. I love them to bits as a kid. But there's always a side appreciation for Pokemon that I would enjoy out of the other two. Now, of course, Charizard, Blaziken.
I feel within me a peace above all earthly dignities, a still and quiet conscience. William Shakespeare.
Thank you, William Shakespeare. But there are other kinds of Pokemon like the starters that I appreciate, like Charmander, of course, like majority favorite. Um, along with Cyndaquil, cute little guy, just becomes fire. I want to say that the anime like added more to Cyndaquil's likable status just because it was adorable with the what I call the Brock eyes, the Brock eye from Pokemon or the Jin eyes from Bleach, but I always enjoy them for different reasons. Charizard, of course, I have Pokemon Leaf Green. I would play several playthroughs with a different starter every time, just to test out the waters of what makes these Pokemon their way. And so, what I discovered is that there happens to be some pattern of how each Pokemon makes a type of starter difficult until you evolve one of them so they can catch up. For example, you have Pokemon Red and Blue. Now, Charmander is Charmander was always the difficult one whenever you start off because they're a fire type, and the first gym that you go for is a rock type, which is super effective against fire types, but you can have an edge on them because Charmander can evolve into Chameleon and just learn Metal Claw. And if you have a good stroll on it, I'm gonna.
You cannot now believe that you will ever feel better. But this is not true. You're sure to be happy again. And knowing this, truly believing it, will make you less miserable now. Abraham Lincoln.
But yeah. So with Chameleon, I never know how to pronounce his name. I believe it's Char. It has to be Charmeleon, like Char. But when it comes to fire types, right? You can get an edge in them. Generation 2, I believe when Cyndaquil became Quilava, there was some. I think Cyndaquil was like the one exception, but I believe the first gym was Flying. My only reference would be Heart Gold and Soul Silver, so I wouldn't know what would be the main part about it. And then you have like Pokemon Yellow or Pokemon Crystal. I believe it was Yellow and Crystal that would allow you to have all starters along with Pikachu, adding more to him being the fan favorite, along with how they made Pikachu the Rising Star with Ash. But then you get to Generation 3, and you want to pick Torchic because, you know, you want to make a KFC joke or something of the sort, but the first gym is a rock type. But what kind of benefit would Torchic bring as a fire type? Well, it turns into Combustion, which is firefighting, in which I'm going to fight this computer. I can't because it's not my computer, but I'm going to fight it if I keep falling in the same fucking spot. Oh, I am... Pepino, 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 please. Pepino, please. Give me the strength. But, okay, so, then you have Combustion. Combustion becomes into a fuck. Combustion becomes into a firefight. Where, when it becomes firefighting, you have the advantage over the rock types because Combustion can learn double kick. And that is something you get used to because even if you have Mudkip or Trico, the main rock types that she has would be those that are ×4 in disadvantages until you get to Nosepass, which I never knew it was just a rock type until way further in life that I could get one in Pokemon Diamond. Because they added like Pokemon like and stuff, which I still think is pretty neat. And that the main reason why it knows electric types because it's designed to be of like inspired after the compasses and like directions and stuff, and how the nose can always find north whenever it wants. But because that one is just a number 2, a ×2 in Pokemon advantage for water and grass types, you would get a shock when they start spamming a stab rock tomb that lowers your speed, or a thunder wave, or a block. I remember that moveset like it was yesterday. And it's just, you can get overwhelmed very quickly. And in Nuzlocke, Nosepass can be a run ender for most, based on like what I've seen, right? And what makes the rock leader so... Roxanne is her name. What makes the rock type leader of that Pokemon so fierce is that even if you had a Mudkip or a Trico, she can still end your run if you're not careful. However, Mudkip would be the best choice if you evolve him early into a Marsh Stomp because they'll last longer. Like if they hit you with a Thunder Wave, they can't because Marsh Stomp is no grass type, so there's no way of it getting paralyzed. And then you got Rock Tomb, which even though it's like going to lower your speed, rock types are not as effective on ground types for some reason. So you are tankier and you have more chance of outlasting Nosepass than you would with other Pokemon. Even though you could also have Trico and then Ability or Mega Drain. But, you know, what can you do? And then we have Generation 4, which has a similar problem in the form of Trinidos.
Do not stand at my grave and cry. I am not there. I did not die.
But
Mary Fry.
But Trinidos, the problem with Trinidos was not that it was tanky. Even though being just a rock type did help it out slightly. It was the fact that it could be speedy and it could be it has the potential to just wipe your Pokemon because it learns Headbutt and Zen Headbutt. Why would it learn that? I don't freaking know. But God forbid that you evolve your Chimchar into a Monferno, the fire starter of Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. And then you have to go for the entire brouhaha of, oh, well, now my Pokemon is fire type, what could go? Oh, look at that, it's a psychic type that can flinch me. And with advantage, it's basically 180. And because the technical machine that they give you in Generation 4 is rock polish, you just sit there and groan in pain because what the fuck do you mean that they added an agility for rock types that makes them faster? Why would you do that to types? But you know, what do you do? I think that's a great addition, but nobody played rock polish.
To live is to suffer. To survive is to find some meaning in the suffering.
And I'm gonna need some
Friedrich
polish in
Nietzsche.
my strength because of the fact that I really just went all the way to the fucking beginning. I to commit various war crimes. Sponsored by a legitimate text. I'm to commit various war crimes. Oh yeah. Oh, there's the Look at it! Look at it right here! Look at there's the orange. That's probably my karma, huh? Just getting all the way over here to see the fruits of my labor. Huh? I deserve everything that happened to me right here. But what was I? Oh yeah, generations of type favoritism, and how you can work around it if you love that Pokemon so much. There's nothing much to say about freaking Turtwig that becomes Grovyle, and then no, Grovyle is Trico. It's not Grommet. I forgot the Pokemon. I can forget Turtwigs. It like they went from Turtwig to Torterra, but I forgot what was the one in between. It has to be. No, it's not. It's not. No. Because Grovyle is Trico, Grovyle, and Sceptile. And I can think of the other Pokemon from Generation 4, which is Chimchar to Monferno to Infernape, and then Piplup to Brentplup to Empoleon. But I cannot for the life of me remember what... Grotle, I think it's Grotle. Grown Turtle. It has to be Grotle. Turtwig, Grotle, and Torterra. Yes, it is Grotle. Okay. I am confident that it's Grotle now. But there's not much to say about Pokemon like Turtwig and Piplup because you know they're water types. They're going to, water and grass types. They're going to breeze through, like getting gyms. If anything, like the one with the good challenge was, Hard Gold and Soul Silver, which I believe it was a flying type for the first time. Because it had a good introduction to Pokemon like Hood, Noctowl, I believe. And stuff like Pharaoh to compensate. But at the same time, one of the things that made Kanto such...
is a mosaic of pleasure and pain. Grief is an interval between two moments of joy. Peace is the interlude between two wars. You have no rose without a thorn. The diligent picker will avoid the pricks and gather the flower. Satya Sai Baba.
Avoid the pricks, huh? I wish that was every day of my fucking life. What was I? Oh yeah, so but then you have like other generations, like in Generation 1, right? You go for the
Sorrow is
first.
my own yard, where the new grass flames as it has flamed often before, but not with the cold fire that closes round me this year. William Carlos Williams.
I'm so glad that his family was able to give him William as a first name or the last name for Williams. But so you have Generation 1, where even if you get through sons of bitches like Brock, then you have the usual Misty. And if you pick Charmander evolving into like Charmeleon, then you're probably the one who grew up like, oh my gosh, this bitch is beating freaking Staryu and Starmie with water pulls, which confuses my Pokemon. Or even if they survive and they get confused, they have potential to freaking piss on themselves and die. And then you have to go back to the Pokemon Center, and then you're like, how am I going to beat her? So you have to go down the path of, I forgot what was the city that, Cerulean City, I think it was? I believe it's Cerulean City. And then you have to find a random Oddish out of that gosh darn field. And then you have to beat this level, with this level 14 Oddish you caught all the way down at the other route. I think it's Route 4 or something. Or Route 20 where you can take your center bitches. Or bitch, because it's just one old dude in there. And then you have to shove a bunch of potions or be very reliant on the Absorb. If you even have the pages to make it a Mega Drain to Gloom. Sometimes, even if you do pick Bulbasaur for some godforsaken reason, you tend to forget that Starmie becomes a water psychic. I forgot what psychic. Oh, it was Confusion. Yeah, it was Confusion that it had for your Bulbasaur or Ivysaur. So even if you did have an advantage with Grass type, oh, boo-hoo. Oh, is that poison I see? Let me just take advantage of that. Why wouldn't I take advantage of the fact that you're opposite type? I mean, I am Misty after all. But then why the Oddish? Oh, well, that's simple. Well, the Oddish is there to do fuck all of poisoning, because then if you do get confused, you probably still get hit by Confusion. Why? Because Water Pulse. Why? Because Water Pulse and Confusion both inflict. Oh, what is Confusion? Why does Water Pulse go for Confusion? Because you want to keep fighting Misty because it's hot, or because she is just giving you all the signs of, hey, I'm going to be the bitchiest person if you pick any of these two Pokemon. And even if you pick a water type for your starter, it won't stop me from confusing your Pokemon and making your day a living hell. So you have to hope that you have that godly run and pick Pikachu. Why? Because you could potentially like get a Pikachu holding a light bulb in Leaf, so you have the extra power boost to do what you need to do. And then, because even if you have Thunder Shock, you can still paralyze the motherfucker. And then there's a chance that they could be paralyzed, so you can just give them that sweet victory of the Pika Pika. And then you get to Pika Pika that gosh darn gym badge out of her without the use of an Oddish. And then you start to realize that maybe Pikachu happens to be the type of Pokemon that would like save you from some runs. Not this one. Instead, the only thing that saves me is my patience for the fucking conversation. Oh, see me. You smacked Sammy. Although, when they remade Misty in Pokemon Heart Gold Silver, one of the things that I like is the fact that for some reason she was super embarrassed of dating Bill of all people. Like Bill, the one who created the freaking PC for Pokemon. I believe that that has to be a flex that nobody has touched on to this day. Because to make the PC system and date the guy who is trying to combine his DNA with Pokemon DNA, you would think that you would be looking at him like, oh, no, this guy. Like, Bill is who Mr. Tusk wants to be. And I believe that Bill is a character that could have been touched on, but unfortunately it never was. I mean, it was, and like I just glossed over it. Probably, I'm not sure. But there's that, and I keep going back to Generation 1 because there are gems from Generation 1 and 3 that I enjoyed so much. One of them is how underrated the idea is to get a Lapras from a fucking tower. The Silphco. And then you get the freaking binoculars to look at ghosts. And yet, you would think that you could do something with these ghosts. Or then there is my fascination with the creepypasta of Buried Alive, which had two like dead Master Hand looking motherfuckers from Super Smash Bros. Or Buried Alive, which is said to just eat you alive. I think the creepy fox.
If you try to please audiences, uncritically accepting their tastes, it can only mean that you have no respect for them. Andrei Tarkovsky.
Очень gusta. Bien. But what was I? There are beauties in Generation 1 that, like, I'm in details. But there are beauties in Generation 1 that, like, of course, deserve their mentioning of Generation 1 and Generation 3. Of course, you have like Generation 2 for, even though I can barely remember what the Generation 2 ones were. But then you have 3, which is Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald.
Don't hate the player, hate the game. Ice-T.
And you know, the first one that we look at is Misty. Right, and I've always seen her and I thought goals. And then there is Erica, the grass gym leader of Gen 1. And I also say goals because she just grows grass and they're just...
When to the sessions of sweet silent thought, I summon up remembrance of things past. I sigh the lack of many a thing I saw, and with old woes new, wail my dear time's waste. William Shakespeare, Sonnet 30.
This sonnet looks dirty. But Erica, she has this lovely kimono, yellow and purple, I believe. And then all they did was just hutch up on on the kimono that she had. And oh my gosh, is it? I believe is underrated. She is so adorable. I would so have a meal with her
Patience is the foundation
as
of
I
eternal
eat
peace.
away at my thoughts and
Make
prayers.
anger your enemy. Harm comes to those who know only victory and do not know defeat. Find fault with yourself and not with others. It's in falling short of your own goals that you'll surpass those who exceed theirs. Tokugawa Ieyasu.
Tokugawa Ieyasu must have been a very spiritual man. But there's Erica, right? And then no, I remember now. I know that is from Pokemon Generation 2. Has to be I believe her name was Clay, which is the Dragon type gym leader, the last one. And I believe that the way how they prevented
She smiled in defeat with unconquerable
trying to
eyes.
go for an East
Atticus.
distance in Silver and Gold, when she told you to, hey, get the Dragon Fang from this place. And then even if you do, it's just you trade the Dragon Fang towards you, then she will deem you a cheater, and you will never progress. There is no ifs and buts about it. You just don't progress the game at all. Because she refused to like allow you to go back. She gave you a challenge and you failed it on the first try. And it's like you would think that if you went all the way over here.
To learn for what? Please resume climbing. Rob Dubbin.
And like when you experience like Pokemon her wrath of the Dragon
Laugh
Fang.
and the world laughs with you. Weep and you weep alone. For the sad old earth must borrow its mirth, but has trouble enough of its own. Ella Weaver Wilcox.
There you go. But what comes with Gen 2, I don't know much. I would like to play the games again. I might actually do that. Might figure out a way if I can grab Heart Gold and or Soul Silver. I actually grabbed Soul Silver because I was more of a fan of Lugia. I love Lugia. I told someone not too long ago that I think Lugia was stupid. Lugia is pretty awesome. It's just the fact that Ho-Oh was actually the one who has a much better, a cooler attack. Mystical Fire compared to like what's her thing? What Aeroblast? It's like, oh no, like I am an ace at Aero. I'm surprised that the community didn't somehow, or the Game Freak didn't accidentally make an attack called Arrow Ace. That's not a joke from LGBTQI community. I love y'all. But
You've done this part before. You know it's possible. Just do what you did the first time.
well, I'm trying, but you know, these controllers be stingy. And I'm not gonna be like Markiplier saying, you shut the fuck up! You shut the fuck up! I helped you die in a fire! And I don't want to do that. I think you're a nice guy, Bennett Foddy. I think the game wouldn't have been like your commotion to success. I saw that there's a like Getting Over It 2 Marathon Edition. Would they make a number 2? What would he make a number 2? Is like the it goes like play test this game or whatever the fuck that? I didn't. Although if he tested it out and he got infuriated, he must know that this game was an utter failure. But I cannot say it's a failure because it made a mass success. So what am I to say to that? Nothing. I think that this game does have goals on its own to the point where even if I put the game quality at worst, this game still looks fine and normal of a high quality. if you just ignore the containers over there. But there is. You know, I heard you running your mouth, and I don't know what you're saying. You see what happens when I talk so much shit? But, no, I'm sorry that I abandoned you. Please cheer on for me, thank you. But it is the fact. Audio is a little choppy. I cannot lower it anymore. It's a burst. Was trying to help. No, I appreciate it. The problem is that I already put this at the lowest quality, so it's probably because I'm also moving
Better by far that you should forget and smile than you should remember and be sad. Christina Rossetti.
Christy never said. Well, I tried. Squidward emoji. Well, calm your ass down, pod man.
Something filled up my heart with nothing. Someone told me not to cry. Now that I'm older, my heart's colder. I can see that it's a lie. The Arcade Fire.
The Arcade Fire. Honestly, that's a cool name. If you have VSync on a VSync or on a word, I check that out. Give me 1 second so I can get in the safer space, because see, look at that. Yeah, I'd be so interested to look into playing Pokemon Gen 2. I might actually just play the Pokemon games on stream. Just do Nuzlockes of each iteration. I will be so excited because I would love to just go back down memory lane and be able to show the glory or like every detail that I fascinate with in the Pokemon games with y'all. And it would be so fun if I could, because I could easily just find and I could just show you like the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. And how like there is benefit. I'll even pick like Charmander for the sake of showing you how like you could, in theory, be a Charmander, but you're just grabbing some random Pokemon from off the street or something. Because if you grab Pidgey or Pharaoh, like what can you do? You just gotta find a Pokemon with freaking Steel Wing, or you find a Steel Dude and teach it like Ground type moves. And what are the chances that Brock over there has grass types, ground type moves to deal with you? And I think that's like an interesting thought process behind certain games like this. Well, I mean, certain games like Pokemon, because there is a rubric already made. There is a rubric already existing. You would think that it'd be non-existing, but it is. Why? Because they made it that way. There wouldn't be a rubric for it if they didn't intend to it. But you know what I'm talking about. And but that rubric is only for geeks and nerds like me. Because if I talk to a other person, aka my husband, he would tell you that if a Pokemon is ugly, he doesn't want it.
I stand amid the roar of a surf-tormented shore, and I hold within my hand grains of the golden sand. How few, yet how they creep through my fingers to the deep, while I weep. Oh God, can I not grasp them with a tighter clasp? Can I not save one from the pitiless wave? Is all that we see or seem but a dream within a dream. Edgar Allan Poe.
Edgar Allan Poe. Well, it's not Nevermore. I mean, it's not Nevermore, but it's just because it's from, Edgar Allan Poe as well. But no. There are so many intricacies behind stuff like Pokemon that you can just enjoy it because it's like the rubric behind it is that it's made for anybody to enjoy it, right? So long as you have an initial concept of mechanics, but how could you even do that? How could you even do that if your main intention is to have fun? Well, you want to like get Pokemon that you like, and then like you have to learn, hey, I need to get stronger, and then you hear that little audible stim of, oh, look at that sweet critical hit, or not the critical hit. There's no sound for critical hit. It's actually for super effective attacks. There is no cue for critical hits, which no. I'm surprised that they haven't done that in like decades. You think that they will like do so that you could have that like little that little cue, because you will find out anyway. You will find out that you get a critical hit. Yet other games have like things for critical hits, like games like Kingdom Hearts. Actually, Kingdom Hearts, Recoded, I believe it was. They had examples of critical hits where if you hit at a certain time, there is a chance where you can just give more damage to your enemies. It's like a random number generator where it's like no, yes, no, or the hacking blade where you can get where you can unlock the ability to just get the Keyblade branches, the key ability branches, because it was in the DS, so you had the touchscreen that allowed you to pick out the branch that you want, and you had crits. I believe the kilo was called 01 in Recoded. Recoded was such an off game because they were trying to implement so many modes for Kingdom Hearts, because usually like one of the things that it did to implement fun and like not just some hack and slash would be the mini game behind it. Yet it was so odd because you would have the usual hack and slashes, but then you reach the Coliseum and now the majority of the game playing an RPG based on the moves that you have. And like the execution in theory is pretty gosh darn cool because it just turned Kingdom Hearts into every type of game. But then you look at the nuance behind it, it's like, what were you trying to do? Like Square Enix, what were you trying to do? Even though, like as a kid, I can't really say much. I used to love the RPG aspect, and I would just be farming experience, mainly because I loved how get edgy man Cloud over there. Also, I want y'all to know this is the most progress I've ever done, but finally. But finally getting out of the orange part is already in and of itself.
Can I see another's woe and not be in sorrow too? Can I see another's grief and not seek for kind relief? William Blake.
Well, you know what? I am going to end that right there. Okay, I'm ending it right there. Why? Because I was able to get progress, and I think that is some that is wonderful. So, thank you all so much for watching. You know what? You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna see who I can raid. Why? Because I think that it would be sick if. Let me see if I can find somebody or. uh. Connect ratio, pero who can I raid? There doesn't need to be anybody on actually. Oh well. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope y'all have a wonderful time. Bye bye.